I'm going to be sharing 10 makeup hacks that work perfectly for anyone over 40. Now, when you kind of head into your 40s and over, I feel like things change. The game is very different when it comes to makeup. So these are all things that I wanted to share with you, which I feel make a really big difference. And I think they're things that are very easy for you to kind of like incorporate into your routine. Now, these 10 hacks kind of take me through an entire look, to be fair. So we're going to be doing this whole look. Now, I have nothing on my face right now at all. So let's get on with the first step. I'm actually thinking my skin doesn't look that bad this morning. I'm just looking at myself like, oh, okay, it's not so bad. But I do have a huge spot on my brow, which you can't even see. Oh my God, I can feel it's a little bit raised. It's one of those ones that absolutely hurts so much. Anyway, moving on. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are a loyal subscriber, welcome back. My name's Nina. I'm a celebrity and professional makeup artist and an educational creator. I have put together these hacks, which I know you're going to love. So these are all things that I kind of thought about that I don't actually, I never used to do. So these are things that I've kind of thought about that, okay, what is it that I do now that I never used to do in my kind of like 30s? And I thought, well, these are all the things that I've kind of changed around. It's either like a quick little switch, or it's a new thing completely, or it's a little trick. So let's get started. Now, first off is ice before skincare. This makes a huge difference. I've got my little ice double ball globe thing, whatever you want to call it. I keep this in the freezer at all times, and it's like all frosty, you can see it. So I will put it on the screen, and I will put the link in the description so that you can get yourself one too. I just got a tissue around it because obviously it's really cold, but this is what it looks like. I just put a tissue around the handle so it's easier for me to kind of like roll, and oh, it's cold. And then, oh, it's so cold. It is so cold. It's very cold. Oh, it's just when you're so warm and cozy and then you do this and you're like, oh. Okay, start every morning with an ice roller. I'm not gonna lie, I do miss this sometimes because some days I'm just like, oh, in such a rush. So I usually go along the jaw first. And I just do this, I don't know, about 10 times on one area. And then I really love going along here. So the cheekbone kind of fits right in the middle there. And this, the lower ball kind of rolls just beneath the cheekbone. Oh, and it's such a great way to just lift and shape your face ready for makeup. And then this top ball here is placed perfectly, kind of like running across your cheek and your under eye area. So it kind of helps to depuff as well. These are the only two places I feel that I need to do it on the lower part of the face, by the way. I think this has to be like a really good ice roller. I just feel like it's just really easy. There is another one that I recently ordered and I've got it. I haven't tried it yet, but I need to actually put it in the freezer. So I will do that and use it on another time to show you. I do really like this because it's just really easy. Okay, and then I go along the forehead. Oh God, let's try and ice that little spot. Oh, ow, that hurts. Oh God, touch it. Okay. There you go. Okay, so that is done. Then what I do is I just wash this and I put it back in the freezer. An ice roller basically helps to kind of depuff and tighten your pores. It's a great way to temporarily do those things, and it's also a really nice way to give you a smooth finish ready for your foundation. If you don't have one of these, just get an ice cube and maybe wrap a tissue around it first though, because it might be a bit too cold for you, but try it. You should be good with an ice cube. You should be able to do it. That's an alternative for you. It's a really cheap way to kind of reduce inflammation and give yourself like that really nice lift before makeup. So it kind of like gives you the best possible base before you even start your makeup. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell button because it doesn't cost you a thing and it really does help my channel out. Okay, so the next hack is using your primer as a barrier, not just for grip. So let me explain this. Most people think that your primer is there to give you a really nice smooth base for your makeup and also to make your makeup last longer. But actually, there's this whole video that I'm going to be doing soon, which is going to go through like a full deep dive of primers. So be ready for that because there's a lot of information on there and a lot for you to learn about primers. Like it's finally going to answer it all for you. But let me explain why I use a primer. I use it primarily to give me a barrier between my skincare and my makeup. it's a really good way to stop that clashing between your skincare and your makeup, because sometimes what happens is our skincare will make our makeup pill, right? And you'll get that kind of like horrible kind of finish to your makeup, or it starts kind of separating. And a lot of that has to do, sometimes when it's not the makeup, it has to do with your skincare. And that's where people think it's always the makeup that is the issue. And sometimes it can be your skincare. Now we've done the ice roller, so let me just very quickly put moisturizer on, and we can move on with the primer. I'm just going to put a bit of my eye cream on. Look, when you're kind of going into your 40s, you are really taking care and focusing on your skincare a lot more in terms of like, what serum should I use? What treatments should I use? You know, making sure that you're using the right kind of skincare. And that can sometimes mean you have more layers than you're used to, or sometimes mean that your products that you're using are a little bit more rich than usual, because obviously when you get older, your skin becomes thinner, drier, etc. So you need more hydration. And because of that, it can affect how your makeup looks and lasts through the day. So that's what my point is when I say that sometimes it may not be your makeup that is the issue, it could be your skincare. But that doesn't mean you need to change your skincare, because your skincare is working really well for your skin, right? You don't want to compromise your skincare just because you don't like the way it's making your makeup look. So a primer is a really good way to just separate the two. It gives you a barrier. Now I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Hydra Prime, which is an SPF 50 as well, which is great. And I'm just going to get a little bit of that on my finger. And we're just going to smooth that all over. Okay, this next hack is great for your foundation. This is the sandwiching hack. So this is where we're going to be sandwiching the foundation in. Instead of loading the foundation on, we're going to be working in really, really thin layers. First off, we're going to add a very thin layer of foundation. I've got my MAC Studio Radiance foundation in NC30, and I've got my BK Beauty 106 brush, and I'm just really getting it into the brush. This is a little bit warm for me, but it's fine. Get a thin layer all over. It's not even like a whole pump, to be fair. Like you can see, I'm not even going back into the foundation. And I've taken the smallest amount from that. So I want a really thin layer. That's fine. It's a very thin layer. I'm not focusing on trying to cover anything. At this point, you're gonna let it settle down just for like 30 seconds or so. So just let it settle down. You can use a fan, or you can, you know, scroll, do whatever you've got to do. That's nice and done. Now what we want to do is get a setting spray. So you're going to use your setting spray to spray on a thin layer and let that dry again. Now you've got two options here, right? Because there's two setting sprays that I absolutely love, right? We have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, and then we have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray Matte Blur. This stuff is amazing. I absolutely love it. So now you need to think to yourself, what is your skin type? Are you more on the drier side, or are you more on the oily side? You tend to get an unwanted shine through the day. If you do, use the Matte Blur, right? If you don't, use the normal one. If you're fine and your skin is a little bit drier, then use the normal one. I'm going to use the normal one. And we're going to get that layer on, and we're going to let it dry. Again, you can use the fan. I like using it just because it cools me down, because there's so many lights in this room. And also, it is just a little bit quicker, I think. This is where you want to now apply a thin layer of concealer. You're going to absolutely love this finish. It's going to look so good. Now I'm going to use my Tarte Shape Tape in NC, it's 35N medium. I'm going to put this on the back of the hand just a little bit first, because what I want to do first is get these eyelids done. So I've got my sponge here. I spray this. I get that into the concealer. And my concealer is just a little bit lighter than my skin tone. So do you remember I said to you that my foundation is it's a little bit warm for me, but I said it's all right because, you know, I can balance it out. Well, this is how I'm balancing it out, with a slightly lighter concealer. Okay, so now what I want to do is get a little bit of powder on to set this. So I've got my Huda Easy Bake in banana bread, and I am just gonna get the eyelids set very quickly so we can focus on the rest of the face. And then we just dust this off. So that sandwiching with that airbrush spray on top of your foundation is gonna work wonders. And I can't wait for you to actually try it, but you've gotta give that drying, like you've gotta do the drying technique between each layer. So now that we've sandwiched the foundation in, you can now move on to the next hack, which is your concealer lift placement. So this is a way to give yourself a bit more of a lift so it doesn't look heavy, but it does give you that youthful finish. So the concealer I'm using is the same one, the Tarte Shape Tape. This is what I want to use to kind of give my face lift. Now it's very clever, strategic placement here. So let's go. Now what we're going to do is add just a little bit there, and then you're going to do a little flick here and a little dash there. Your dashes can be thinner than mine, so less product if you want. Now let's actually do this on one side so that you can see the difference it really genuinely does make. Again, you want to use the same trick as earlier. You want to spray your sponge. You're going to let your concealer sit there for a few seconds. Okay, and now you're going to use your sponge to just blend that. By the way, that first, the hack we did before this, which was the foundation sandwiching, is going to give you the most stunning, smooth finish for your concealer. You won't be doing your foundation in any other way after trying this. Right, look how quick that was, and look at the difference. Look at the lift that it gives you. It just immediately lifts the features. This is still a little bit kind of like, you know, just... This side is a lot more lifted. So I love the fact that just 3 small dashes in very clever places can give you the most stunning lift, and it can give you that youthful look. And what I love about it is it gives you the coverage as well as the lift. So we're going for the lift, but at the same time, we've got that coverage that comes through too. Now what we want to do is do the same on the other side. Can you hear those birds? Wow. They are going for it this morning. We're going to let that sit. Sometimes I hear it on the videos when I'm watching back, like when I'm editing, like, and I hear it and I'm like, it actually sounds really nice. You've got little like birdies in the background. So, okay. Birdies. Who calls them birdies? Honestly, like I'm 5. Okay, I am super happy with this. I love the lift that I've got, and it's kind of brightened up my face a little bit. If you enjoy videos like this and you want to actually keep referring back to something, then head on over to my online community, thebeautybreakfastclub.com. It's somewhere where you are going to find everything relating to beauty, everything that I talk about on this channel, but in more detail, and then newsletters that you can keep referring back to. So I think you're going to love it. It's got beauty, fashion, style, well, fashion, style, same thing, kind of wellness, mindset, and real talk on there. Real kind of issues, maybe also that you might find in your 40s that people need to talk about more of, and just things that you're probably thinking but people don't really say out loud. So I really would love you to head on over. It's a free subscription, but there is a paid version. The free subscription gives you access to some of the site, and the paid version, which only costs you the same as getting yourself 1 coffee a month, will give you access to the entire site, unlock everything, and also let you join the group chat where you will find me along with the rest of the community. We've got nearly 6,000 people on this community. You can ask questions and I will answer them for you, and you get to meet everyone else too. You're gonna love it. Okay, so your next hack is also ensuring that you apply any creams before your powder. So when I say powder, I'm talking about your setting powder. Anything that you have to apply in terms of blush, bronzer, contour, whatever, make sure that is done before your powder. So all of that needs to go before your powder. Let's get to it. So we're going to apply a couple of different things. We've got blush, we've got bronzer to apply. So let's apply the bronzer first. I am going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Sun Kissed Glow Bronzer in Tan. I do really like this. Okay, I'm going to use my BK Beauty 109 brush. I'm going to go into this and then I'm going to start bronzing my face. So I'm just adding this to sculpt but also warm up the perimeter of my face. Anywhere where I would add my powder bronzer after. Look at the difference, like immediately we've got that really nice bronze look and it's given us shape on the face. And you just want to take it around the edge of your face. Anywhere you want that sun-kissed look, really. I'm really happy with that because I feel like it's bronzed up my face nicely. I'm going to go just on the sides of my nose a little bit. Okay, next I want to add some blush. You know what? I haven't applied this one for a while. Let's use the REM Beauty blush stick in front. Well, this is actually the cheek lipstick. It's front row center. So I've got my Hourglass 15 brush. I'm going to take some of this. I'm going to go on the back of the hand first. I'm trying to force myself to use other cream blushes because I'm obsessed with that Patrick Tar one. And I don't want to keep using the same one every time. So I'm going to keep reaching into these different ones that I've put here that clearly I loved for a reason. And now I'm like, wow, I forgot how good this one was. This is really nice. Oh, this is so pretty, this blush. The next hack is now your setting powder. The quickest way to age yourself is by just piling on the powder. It really is. And so many people sweep, and that in itself can really age you. So remember to only press. If you press, the result will be smooth, blurred skin. Quick thing we're going to do before we actually set is apply our setting spray again. This is kind of like the foundation hack that I mentioned earlier, but it's spread out. So you want to keep sandwiching everything together. So this is something that I would highly suggest doing before you press your powder in, is making sure you spray this spray, whether it be the matte one or this one. So figure out which one works best for you. So we're going to let this dry. We're going to just make sure this is nicely dry. Just to make sure there are no creases there. Right, you're gonna love the way your powder looks on your skin with this whole sandwiching technique. Okay, get your powder on the puff, right? You're gonna make sure there's not too much on it by just pressing into the palm of the hand. We're gonna do the under eye area. Right, first thing you're gonna do is just sweep that off because you don't need to bake. If you wanna use the brush to press it in, just use the brush to press it in. Okay, under eyes are completely done. You're going to get the smoothest, most perfect finish with this hack. Okay, so next we're going to use this to press it in to all the other areas that we want to. So for me, I like to kind of apply it, you know, where I applied the concealer in that kind of lifting way. And then I just press it very lightly. There's not too much powder on this because if there was, you'd be able to see like a pile of it on top. You are going to get a bigger brush. We've got the veil brush. And we're going to very lightly, and I mean we're really skimming, we're not pressing. You can even like just keep, when I say I'm not pressing like I'm not dragging hard, but you want to very lightly skim over the skin. If you want to apply it with a brush all over, you can. You don't have to use the puff, but everything should be a pressing movement like technique. Okay, I'm just going to clean the brows. This is going to kill because that spot I've got there, which I can't seem to see. I've got my Urban Decay Slick Day Brow. I've got a new one here, but I'm still not managing to throw this old one because I just want to get as much as I can get out of it because it's just so good. So this is moving on to the next hack. So I would 100% recommend using a brow wax. It is a game changer. What we're going to do is just go through, brush through like this, and then I'm going to show you what we do. Okay, you're going to now press. So you've got the shape that you want, you're then going to press. That is going to keep it in place, right? So you can see all the sparse areas that we need to fill. Now the trick is let that dry down as much as you can. I am actually going to use this because I want it to dry down quick. Otherwise it can take its time. Now we're not going to be drawing blocky brows. This is where a lot of people go wrong in their 40s. Like you end up using products which are way too harsh for your skin and for your hair. So you want something which is very kind of like light in the sense that it isn't too heavy for your brows, because as soon as your brows look heavy, I feel like it just makes everything else look wrong. So what we are trying to do is just to kind of like balance everything out. Right now, you can see I've got black hair, right, with the odd grey one sprouting through, but we've got black hair. Now, if I were to apply black, it's going to be way too harsh. So you always want to go just a little bit lighter than your hair and then see what that looks like, and then you're going to basically add a little bit of darkness if you feel that you need it on the areas to give it kind of like depth. Now I've got my Benefit Mighty Fine brow pen, which is also running out. Oh, it's so annoying, isn't it? So I'm going to now, because this is all nice and dry, draw some hair strokes from the bottom. Now, it's not perfect because the hair strokes from this brow pen is not going to be enough, right? It is still going to, you're still going to see the kind of hard, the sparse areas. But this is where you're going to get a very thin pencil. So something that isn't a pencil that you will draw, like you can draw a harsh line with. You're going to use something very thin. So we're using the Kosas Brow Pop Nano, and this is in dark brown. Now I'm going to be drawing hair strokes with this, but what you want to do is let this dry because the pen always takes a little bit longer for it to kind of like dry. Like you can do other parts of your face if you want, but I'm doing this section by section, so I want to just get the brows done so they're out of the way and you can see how they're really done. But a softer feather brow is the way to go when you're in your 40s. So try not to draw the shape in. You're kind of like drawing it with the feathers. You're shaping it with the feathers. Like the feather strokes that you're going to be doing, that's how you're actually shaping your brow. Okay, now let's now draw the hairs in. Now this pencil is a little bit darker because we do need that kind of like depth in certain areas. Brows are done. So you can see they're feathered, they're not harsh and blocky. It doesn't look like I've just drawn them in. The next hack is your lashes. So this is where you want to make sure there's no makeup on your lashes. So get a wet wipe if you feel that there is probably makeup on there. I've wrapped 2 fingers like that. It's almost like a scissor. And then I just very lightly slide any of the kind of makeup off. So I'm just kind of cleaning my lashes. You're not pulling them hard. It's a very soft, just slide off. Right, then you're going to get your lash curler. Now this is going to be a 2-section curl because what we're doing is we're going to curl the lashes from the root. So let me just make sure I've got them all in. Yeah. Right. That's from the root, and sometimes people can find that it's too much of a bend. So what you're going to do is your second curl is going to go a little bit further, so leave a bit of a gap. So just move the lash curler out a bit and do a very soft curl closer to the tip, and that's going to give you more of a curl rather than just one big dent. So you're going to do one like from the root and then move the lash curler out a bit, and then a quick one at the end. So shorter at the end, but it's not right at the end of the lash, but it's just a little bit kind of before the end of the lash. And that gives you more of a nice curl as opposed to one like kind of like a dent there. Let's get our mascara on. I am just going to use my Hourglass Unlocked mascara. There you go. Such a good mascara, isn't it? I just like every time I use it, I'm just like, this is so good. It's just a great day mascara. I do find that when you do this two-part curl with your lash curlers, it's actually really easy to kind of like just leave it like that, even if you don't want to apply mascara. So let's just add some of this to the lower lashes. Because sometimes I like that look, you know, with the no mascara look. And just maybe like a more of a bolder lip. And a bold lip to me doesn't mean a dark lip all the time. It can be something like maybe more of a glossy lip. Okay, we're gonna skip shimmery highlighters. This is honestly something you should not be doing when you're heading into your 40s. Like super shimmery highlighters are just gonna enhance texture, fine lines, and it can end up looking just wrong for some reason. As right as it looked when you were 20, it's going to look just as wrong in your 40s. You want more of a lip from within glow. So what you want is something like a sheen. So something which is a really nice kind of cream sheen. You could use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Filter and use that with a sponge and just dab it on areas, like a very, very small amount. But the trick is to make sure that you get it into the sponge like thoroughly before you actually start dabbing on. So you can use your fingers if you want to. I've got a sponge here. Now I'm going to use the Patrick Tar Major Glow Cream and Powder Light Reflecting Translucent Highlighter Duo, and this is in the shade Daddy, but I'm only using the cream, right? So I've got the cream there and I'm going to dip this in, but what I want to do is make sure that there's not a lot that's going to come onto my skin. So always make sure that you go onto the back of the hand first to get all the excess off. Then we're going to bounce on the peak of my cheekbone. It is very easy to end up looking like you've got a strip, so you've got to be really careful and make sure you buff it into the kind of hand first. You've got to look at it in all lights, like daylight as well, because it can end up looking very wrong. So make sure you do this in the daylight. That is literally all you're going to need for a bit of sheen there. And just pat with your finger if you feel like there's too much on a certain area. But you should be getting this really nice, can you see that, just that nice kind of like, just as you turn your head, you can see that kind of really nice shine. It's that really subtle dewiness as opposed to glitter or shimmer. Your last one is something you're gonna love. So I want you to use your lip liner as your full lipstick. This is a great way to give yourself that kind of like color that you like, that's gonna last all day, but also using it with a lip balm to just soften the whole thing up so it isn't a thick lipstick. We're gonna use my Makeup by Mario Ultra Suede lip pencil. Is it Ultra Suede? Yeah, Ultra Suede sculpting lip pencil, and this is in Smoky Pink. Line the lips and then shade them all in. I've got it all over my lip now. Such a nice color. Next, you're gonna get a lip balm, something that you like. I'm using my Prada Banana Lip Balm. Even though it's yellow, it doesn't come out yellow. It's this slight sun-kissed look to it. And any balm is gonna turn your favorite lip liner into your perfect lipstick. It's the best way to get just an easy lip, because you're using your favorite lip pencil. You don't have to try and match a lipstick to it. It's just one product rather than using two products, and it lasts better all day, and you've got lip balm on it, so it turns it into that lipstick. So you can choose whatever lip balm you decide to put on, something which is ultra shiny, something which is more of a matte balm, something which is just a little bit subtle. So choose what you want. Like now with this, I feel like I can blot this and the kind of like moisture is going to stay there, and it's this really nice soft matte finish now. So yeah, this is my finished look. So it's really, really easy hacks that I feel like is going to change the way you do your makeup. I think my favorite has to be the foundation sandwiching and also the lip hack, because I feel like these are two things that really do change it up. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this today. Please don't forget, I do have another channel called the Beauty and Fashion Reviews channel, and that focuses on very quick fire videos like top 10 foundations, top 10 concealers, a lot of stuff about me kind of being in my 40s and like the different things that I do to try and kind of like feel as youthful as I can, and yes, look it too. Yeah, you'll see a lot on there. I'm currently doing this whole aging backwards series on there, which people are loving. You might want to head on over and check it out. It is a deep dive into all of the things that I feel over the last year have really helped me to kind of look younger and feel younger, more importantly, and feel healthier and actually be healthier, because I get my blood work done every 3 to 4 months and I check everything out, because a year ago I started on this health journey and it's been a game changer for me. So I wanted to share all of that with you. So head on over and subscribe to that channel. Everything is linked in my description. I really do hope you've enjoyed this today, and I can't wait for the next video. So I will see you then.